not right now, but at some point in the future, because this thing just rolls so terribly. I hate it when it wins because I'm not gonna win any of the rollies. But not today. The Matt Mercer might die one.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm telling you, man. I'm gonna roll a 20 and I'm gonna roll my 20 and the 12, right here. They're almost the same size, and I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna only count the 20, but I'll roll both and see what happens.
So you're down to 26. I think we got down to like 24, 23 recently. I haven't been using AC for the last week or so.
I haven't seen anything lower than 27. Today is the first day I'm looking. I see it just now, 26 degrees. It's been 27 to 31, 32 for since I don't know, since March. So this is the first time I've seen since then. The last time it was when summer officially shows up here. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, the morning cycles to work have been kind of nice because I'm still sweating when I get to work, so I bring my work clothes with me. But you get the breeze, it's not super hot at that time in the day, It's been real nice.
It's nice. Yeah. Dog walks have been real nice in the afternoon, which is good. The morning walks are great, and the night walks are fine. But the afternoon walks can be a little daunting in that sun. So now, although here's the big thing that happens down in Kaohsiung, though, the AQI goes through the roof. It's all orange and red today, this week. So starting yesterday.
Index.
Yeah, it's bad. It's gray out there.
Eesh.
It's gross. Yeah, Kaohsiung's in at the end of the valley, right? So it's the bowl at the end of the valley. Everything when the way I always explain it is in the summertime, everything comes from off the ocean up north. But in the winter, when the ocean currents shift, everything comes from the north. And everything that's north of us is factory for like 100 kilometers. And so when the winds,
which is just south of us,
basically, exactly, it goes all the way to Taiwan. And so when the winds shift from the north, it blows all the smoke down into Kaohsiung. So it's just been gray skies for the past 2-3 days. It's not.
Jeez, I just don't look at that thing, man. I don't want to. I kind of feel like
as soon as I go outside, I'm like, oh yeah.
The light cigarettes that I smoke, I'm just kind of like, you know what? These are probably actually helping because there's a filter. At least
there's a filter. Yeah.
Huh. Hey, we're online, bud.
We on the internet?
Yeah.
Right on. Welcome to Critters in Taiwan, a D&D podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. I am Ben in Kaohsiung.
I'm Tim in Taichung.
And we're Critters in Taiwan. What a day. What an episode.
An episode or a day or both?
Well, both. I finished the episode today for my second one.
Oh, it's fresh in your mind then.
It's fresh in my mind. I was thinking about it all afternoon at work. I don't work until 5 o'clock on Tuesdays.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Wow. How long do you work in the afternoon?
Like 3 hours.
Mostly 5 to 8.
5 to 8, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's quite nice. I mean, I actually went in a little bit early today because I had some lesson planning I had to do, and so I was maybe 4 hours today.
Ooh, 4-hour days.
Yeah.
It's rough.
But yeah, it's fresh. This episode is fresh in my mind. It was a good one. Real quick, before we get into it, though, if I may.
If you may, you may.
We had a couple of comments on our last episode. We'd like to give shouts out to Intoxicated Conqueror. Appreciate your question. She started it off saying, not important question. I don't remember a CR player from any campaign having the ability to prevent scrying. I know once they had a necklace to block the scry. Is it only big bars that can block scry? I didn't really understand the next part, but if you remember, Caleb started campaign 2 with a necklace that prevented scry.
Like an enchanted item that disallowed
He stole it from the Sanimatorium.
Yeah, and him and Beowulf, what the fuck's his name? Eadwulf. Shit. And the unrequited love interest.
Astrid.
Yep. Didn't they all kind of had some access to those or something, right?
I think everyone in the Cerberus Assembly has one. Like that's just part of the deal.
Just like can't grab me, sorry.
Yeah, you all get one. He didn't. Caleb said that at one point that he had stolen it from the person that he had killed to escape from the sanatorium.
Right.
But yeah, that's the. So they had one, and then And then in the later part, I don't think they ever had one or even thought about it in campaign 1. Scrying wasn't a thing back then.
Not a big thing, no.
No, I don't think it was really a big deal. Campaign 2, and then for the final arc, the Aor arc, they all went and they broke into the place and stole as many of them as they could for everybody. Yeah, which was a fun arc.
Yeah, that was to get not Lewdness. What's her name? The
Trent
one that
Ikithon.
Him and the one before that was dead in the room. Vesterogna.
Yeah. Well, no, Vesterogna was dead at that point.
Right.
Spoiler alert. It was also to prevent Lucian because Lucian was scrying on them like mad all the time.
Yeah, just like by a natural ability, just checking them out because he could.
Yep, totally. Those Eyes of Nine shit just were like, yeah, Eyes of Nine. Of course, you can just scry at will.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that answered that question a little bit. And then we got another one from Paul Bedard 5786.
Paul Bedard.
Just a nice little heart emoji. That's it. Yeah.
Right back at you.
Right back at you, bud.
Appreciate it, bud.
Yeah, we do.
I'm assuming.
So yeah, that's the gist of that. So that was episode 74. But tonight we are here to talk about episode number 75, An Ancient Flame.
An Ancient Flame.
Yep.
These episode titles are pretty on the nose. Were they on the nose for the last 2 campaigns?
There's not a lot of they're just calling it like it is.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm down with that.
Just good, An Ancient Flame. Yep. Okay, cool. Sounds right.
So I do want to say a couple of quick things.
I've got some I want to talk about before we get started too.
Okay, go.
Right now?
You go first. Yeah, you go first.
Me? Oh, okay. Mine is not relevant to Critical Role, so maybe I'll do mine first, then you can say something afterwards, perhaps.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
They've been boosting that show called Midst.
Right.
What's her name? Marisha and Samuel have been pushing it, and I don't really, someone says, "Oh, this podcast is great," or "This album is great." I don't typically listen to, things that people recommend unless it comes from a very trusted source. But then you said, "Hey, it's actually pretty good. I'll check it out." And that's what I'm doing. When I cycle to work, I find something that will not get interrupted with commercials, Yeah. And since I'm subscribed to Critical Role, then I get commercial free. So that's where it started, was commercial free content. But then it's really pleasant.
Yeah.
It's really, really pleasant. I think they're using a mic like this one where like you get really close and it's, it's almost ASMR like, but I don't like ASMR. And I'll say a few things that I like about it. For one, ad free if you're subscribed to CR. For two, they have the 3 narrators. Where in the first episode or 2 or maybe even 3, they said that it's like semi or pseudo improvised kind of, but there's I guess they all must know what's going on.
Yes. Well, they say that they have a story. They have a story umbrella, but everything is unscripted. They do not. They know what's happening, but they don't know how the characters are going to react.
Huh. See,
they make that up as they go.
That's really cool because you can't really tell. Especially in the beginning.
No.
Like in the beginning, it seems like, okay, we got to set the scene first, And then after the first, I think 3 episodes, which are 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, they're quite short. They're quite digestible.
Which is great for people with short attention spans, which is everybody these days, After that, I don't know if it was a coincidence or a choice, but they had the background music of jazz. I'm not going to give any spoilers away for this show, only Critical Role stuff. And I was like, oh, they had some jazz in the background, and I started feeling like I could hear some of their improvisation, know, which it's cool. And you got the 3 different people, talking real close to the mic like this, so it's got a real intimate feel to it. And they only speak for 5-10 seconds at a time, so it just keeps you up,
What really amazes me about the 3 of them, the thing that I dig the most, is that they don't really have roles. They sort of speak for everybody. All 3 of them play all the characters. So they'll finish each other's not sentences, but the character will do one thing with one voice, and then it'll do another thing with a different voice, which is that to me is well, the 3 of you really need to be in sync for that. 2, that's difficult for 2 people to do, but the fact that all 3 of them can do it just astounds me. There's so much trust going on there.
Yeah, so much
and care.
When you see trust and you see that, with that camaraderie working together, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, and it's a fun story. It's
Yeah,
it's a neat story.
It's well written enough to keep me interested. Like,
that's good.
I try to save my ad-free stuff for my bike rides and my walks, just so I don't have to dig in my pocket and skip an ad or block an ad or whatever. Yeah. I just listen to it.
I haven't started season 2 yet because, I mean, I think all 4 seasons are out already, or they were. It's an older series. It's a few years old, but then they were on podcasts, and then they got scrubbed when CR picked them up, and they scrubbed it from everything. They scrubbed it from all the other stuff, and then CR is re-releasing stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
I think they published 4 seasons. I'm not totally sure, but it's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun story that's starting to come together. I think I'm 8 or 9 episodes in, and I'm watching the it's like a 7.5 hour thing, just like straight through. After every 3 episodes or whatever, Sam and Marisha come in and they talk about it a little bit. It's just real nice. It's like an audiobook, Yeah. But I know that they're improvising some things, but I can't really tell when or where they are, except for the occasional like cut where like someone's like, "Oh fuck." And then they cut to something else,
Totally.
And also what you said before with when they just like kind of each one of them can do a character, and it's like male, female, child, adult, whatever. It's not as hard as you might think to follow along, Like if it's a male narrator using doing a female character, they'll just go into the female voice, and it's not confusing who it is because you're following. It's smooth. It's nice. It's really, really pleasant. Yeah, makes that bike ride just go real relaxed,
Totally.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to hearing more of it. Like I hope they get the second season also for.
It's out. The second season. The second season's already going.
With this long ass 7.5 hour or whatever thing.
Yeah.
Because it's real nice to not have to skip, not have to choose the next episode because they are fairly short. Yeah. Compared to CR.
Yes.
Yeah, but if you haven't checked it out, here's my recommendation. It's good storytelling, good writing, if you will. I don't know. Not much to watch because it's just like a picture that kind of moves a little bit for the visuals.
Nobody has any. They've remained very anonymous. We don't know. Nobody knows who they are, which is pretty cool. That's good for them.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. When's the there was that thing that Sam and Marisha did. After the first season, is that what they did? Yeah,
when they after the first when they finished the first season, it's up on YouTube somewhere. It's in the it's on their YouTube page.
It's on the CR videos as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was after the first season.
Right. Okay, after the first season. I think when they were just about to drop the first episode of the second season. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to finish this and then watch that, and then hopefully they'll have the long version of season 2 up there.
I'm sure they will.
It's real nice. It's real nice.
Maybe. So, I haven't kept up because I've been far too busy with other stuff, but I think it's coming up there. I'm not totally sure.
I'll keep an eye out. I'll keep you posted.
Yeah. I don't know. No idea.
Cool. Yeah, I meant to mention that last week, but I put it in the wrong part on my page, so I didn't see it.
Okay, so if I can.
What were you going to say?
I don't remember what the second one was now. I think.
I'm sorry. That was long-winded.
No, I kind of remember. The first one was because I don't want to use it for one of my rollies, but I at the very beginning of this episode, there's if I can, I sent you a message saying, this remind me because I wrote myself. About my so at the very beginning of this episode they go spelunking down this chimney in the top. They go up the mountain and then they go down into the mountain through a chimney. I did the year before I came to Taiwan, which was 2004, in the winter of January, February, March of 2003, me and my buddy Mark drove across Canada. We did Toronto to Tofino, which is, Ontario all the way to the very farthest, not the farthest, but very, very close to the tip of Vancouver Island. So we drove across. We took almost 3 months to drive across the country. It was great.
Oh,
ton of fun.
You must have detoured a lot.
Oh, a lot. We stopped everywhere. We put snowboards on I had a Subaru wagon, and it was 2 of us, and then the rest of the car was completely full. We were on a mission. So we put the snowboards on. We went in the winter so we could specifically get to the mountains and just snowboard around. But when we got to Canmore, which is in the middle of Alberta, at the beginning, sort of at the beginning of the Rocky Mountains, my buddy Mark made friends with a guy who was, we were doing some rock climbing too, made friends with a guy who was a rock climber. And I don't know how it happened, but he gave Mark the keys to one of Canada's, I think it's Canada's 4th largest cave network. It's a gated thing. It's 4 to 8 kilometers long inside. It's called Rat's Nest Cave. And so this is totally, probably completely illegal what we did, but we got the keys, so I don't know how it happened. We got in there.
I'm out.
Anyway, it was, we went in at like 9 a.m. and we came out at like 8 p.m. We spent almost 12 hours underground. And it was some of the wildest caving experiences I can ever imagine.
Did you bring Xanax or anything?
No, I don't have. I was trying to remember. We might have brought some other substances that were illegal at the time.
So when you say it was illegal, you weren't talking about getting in.
We definitely did not go down there and smoke a lot of weed. That
definitely did not.
Anyway, so there was parts on your belly, crawling under like huge, just crawling where they're like like that much space, crawling through for like 20, 30 meters, and then opening up into a cavern.
It's not
and
that bad, but did you know it was 20, 30 meters before you started crawling?
No idea.
I left my Xanax in the other room,
wild, man. It was wild. It was really, really fun time. Opened up into big chambers with stalactites and stalagmites and these mineral runs that would glow and they had like green and blue and red colors.
Oh, nice.
Really, really neat. Yeah.
Pop
it was really
quiz,
good. Anyway,
stalactites and mites, which one's which?
And it made me laugh because so much of chat, when I opened it up,
we'll get back to that,
was screaming. They're like, you're like yelling at no, stop this. I don't like this. This is making me uncomfortable. My nerves are hitting. Similar to what you're talking about, like just being very upset. And I'm not claustrophobic by any stretch. So this doesn't bother me at all. I don't get that fear one bit. But it was, it just reminded me a lot of that and brought me back a good memory.
I think it's more attached to like perhaps agoraphobia. Like not having a way out. It's like, I'm okay with small spaces. Buried alive, go for fuck yourself. That's, right. No, I would flip out in there. That'd be the terrible way to die. Just like use all my energy until the oxygen's gone and then die. Yeah. But at least die kind of euphoric because apparently that's what they say.
You pass out gently.
Yeah.
It's weird. The disconcerting thing for me is that there's like 3 or 4 kilometers of mountain straight above you. You're like, there is a lot of mountain up there because the cave starts at the bottom of a huge mountain and goes down into it. Like the mountain is huge. Canmore is sort of like this. It's the Rocky Mountains. They're huge mountains, and you go down, 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 and then you start going horizontally. It's wild. Really, really, really neat.
This is in Alberta?
In Alberta, yeah.
Oh man,
very cool, very cool. I'd love to go back some year. The next thing. So that's all. But what I do want to say that's about this, because
I'm scared of it. Same thing with like deep water. What is it called? Thalassophobia. I have that too. But I love water. I love being on boats and shit. But looking over the side just freaks me out. Heights freak me out. But that's why I like cliff jumping because I'm really scared of it.
Right.
So like I'm not great spelunking like this.
I don't like heights at all. I'm not good with them.
That's why you should do it. This is why I should go to Alberta and maybe check this place out,
Maybe. That's cool.
But if it's changed since the last time you've been there, I'm out because that means things have fallen. Things,
Yeah.
That's when I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, the next thing I want to say is get away from the spelunking thing. What I do want to say is if I can... this is never a good thing to do, and I know you're not supposed to do it, but there might be some things that I say on this episode that are not very pleasant, and they might be construed as negative. Please don't take them that way. I'm talking to you. I just want to do it. This is just a warning that it may sound like I'm coming off as hating sometimes, and I'm genuinely not. Because I do know in a lot of my notes, it sounds like I'm griping. I'm genuinely not, and I'll try my best. Because I'm looking at all of my points that I want to talk about, and they're all like, "You suck, you suck, you suck, you suck," and I'm like, I probably shouldn't say that. So,
You know what I get
just
to do?
want to say, I'm going to try my best to be positive about this, but it may come off as negative, and I apologize.
Let's remember that's his disclaimer, But let's remember we both thoroughly enjoyed this episode, as you should if you haven't seen it yet.
I love this one.
You
It was
shouldn't
so
be
much
here
fun.
if you haven't seen it.
I was on the edge of my seat when I first watched it. I was literally on the edge of my seat, yelling and going, "This is amazing!" It was so much fun.
The first spelunking part, I was like, like most of the people at the table, like, Matthew, what are you doing? And he's like, this is my nightmare too. And
Right.
like, well, then
and that's
why
when
did you do it?
That's when I sent you that message saying, "Remind me to tell you the story about the spelunking because this is amazing."
I was already at the halfway point, but when you sent me that message, and I was like, fuck that. No, fuck that. See, now I get to sit behind not needing a disclaimer because I have my own issues with this, and I'm sure we're going to sync up on a couple of them. But I don't know as much as you do, so I'm going to hide behind that little screen and be like, I'm going to come out here. And
I'm ready for most of those
it.
points because I know what you're gonna. I'm pretty sure I know what you're gonna ask me, so I've got my points ready.
Maybe you'll be proud because you're like, "Hey, you finally picked up on some thing." It's usually you that says, "All right, in this moment, there was this, there was this."
Okay, bud, let's get into these rollies. Let's get into them right now because we're already like 30 minutes.
My Matthew Mercer die won, so I'm gonna win like all these rollies.
Well, first rollie, here we go.
With an infinity to start off.
Hey, my D21. You started with a .20?
With an infinity.
Yeah, so I got a 13.
Oh, fucking hell. Damn it, I wanted the first one.
Okay, I'm going to start
8 is right next to the 20. What the fuck, man? Come on.
Oh, yeah, it is right next to the 20. Okay, so I'm going to start with the very... when they land, they get into the... I get a lot of things I want to say. I'm going to start when they get through the chimney, which they lucked through a lot of problem solving. That was a real good puzzle by Matt to give them that chimney that really I think they lucked into solving all of it. But when they land in and they see these little orange imps, they're probably some weird version of magma mephits. That's what I'm sort of guessing that they were. It's a like little they're like little mephits or little
mephits.
Mephit, MEPHITS. They're a pretty common monster. They're a little monster that you fight, and they come in packs. There's ice mephits, there's fire mephits, there's water mephits. They're little tiny impish elementals.
Huh. Okay.
Earth ones and all of that. As soon as he started talking about their language that they were speaking, which again they solved quickly with tongues, I was like, I know that language because I had to learn it for one of my characters, and it's this. They described it, grinding rocks together. It's called Terran. It's the Earth elemental language, and I was like, I know that. Even before he said it was Terran, I'm like, that's Terran. I know it is. But I just want to give a shout out to Taliesin for fucking figuring out that the thing was in the lava pool and immediately diving in.
Okay.
Here's what I want to talk about, and this might sound a little bit negative.
Don't worry, we'll keep it positive. Don't worry.
Really, really, really. This is a moment where my brain was yelling at my brain. I had an internal shit going on because D&D in this situation, I had a real conflict with D&D being greater than physics.
Okay.
We don't sink into lava.
No.
We don't. Lava is 3 times the density of water. Mm-hmm. So you would never splash into lava. You
hit it.
Thump into lava.
It's still rock. It just has
fucking rock.
Yeah.
It's not liquid. It's just, I mean, it is liquid, but it's not liquid.
You'd have to dig into it.
You'd have to dig into it, and by that point, you would be dead.
Yes. Or you're melting into it. That's the only way you could Terminator 2 into it.
I get it. I'm like, okay, this is fine. You're going to dive into lava and just splash through, and then it's going to splash around.
Treat it
okay,
like a liquid.
I'm okay with that.
As it is. But it's a liquid. But
why did he choose 8d10 damage and not 18d10?
As it's supposed to be, right? As we learned in the first campaign, right?
Because and that's the only, because it's not, you be careful about that. It's supposed to be, because there is no supposed to be.
Oh.
There are categories of improvised damage in the Dungeon Master's Guide. It is general consensus amongst everybody that the highest one is lava, which is 18d10. Lava should be the massive damage, which
I
is
don't think magma would be
18
more
yeah.
because it's not even out yet. I would think magma would be higher because lava's out in the
It's
in the
sure.
elements.
Okay, the difference between magma and lava is basically there isn't. So
Like
okay, let's
magma's
call
still
it
trying to get to the cold places.
right.
Lava's
so let's call
out.
It, sure. So let's call it magma. So it should be at the very highest point of damage, which is 18d10. And Matt called it.
Damn it! What's his name? Chris. What's his name?
Good Perkins.
Chris Perkins. He brought that up in the first campaign.
He's the one that said yes. Lava damage, magma damage should be 18d10. It should be the highest damage that can be done in D&D, or it should be like at the very top. It's where that massive damage should be.
Yeah.
Matt chose to more than have it. That being submerged in this would be 8d10. Being partially submerged would be 6d10. Being a little bit submerged would be 3d10 or whatever. Like all these things. And
yes.
I'm trying to figure out why.
Can I step in?
Yes, that's my question. Why? I think I know why, but I'm not sure. So that's my question. I'm trying to figure out why.
I don't think anybody really knows why, but I think also at the table they were like, wait, last time we had lava, it was way harsher than this.
Yes.
But also Matthew did say you don't get any sulfur, you don't get anything that normally would happen with volcanic activity.
Yep.
So what I just thought was like, okay, he's going to hide behind the fact that it's kind of a magical thing, so it's not exactly molten
It's not
lava.
a volcano.
Yeah.
It's a location where a shard of Kamort, the fire emperor, was hanging out. Or it was what that little shard was plunged into when
or maybe it was just there and it created this pool because it melted rock.
Right.
But it wasn't quite the same temperature.
It's been sitting there for so long that it just slowly created a pool of lava in this place.
But now
I'm good with that. I'm good with that explanation.
I'm okay with it, but as a couple of scientists here, we talk about the specific heat of rock where it stays same temperature regardless of if it's melting or turning back into rock. It stays the same temperature until it achieves the other side. That should still be the very high level of damage. However, this is D&D, not a physics
I've
class.
watched, for the record, for what it's worth, I've watched people quit D&D because of physics. So just saying, like, it is a weird circle to square in some people's mind, and this one really caught me, and I'm like, I don't like this, but I'm okay. Suspension of disbelief is fine, but this one got me for some reason. I think you're right. I think part of me was saying, yes, this is a magical thing. So you did specifically say you're not catching this is not a volcano. Cool. Also, they are only level 11. So if I may, I did just back of the envelope. I wrote down all of the damage that Ashton took.
Okay.
He took 35 minus 14, 40 minus 9, 32 minus 10, which is a grand total of 107 minus 33, which is a grand total. Sorry, so a total of 107 minus 33 for a grand total of 74 points of damage.
Right, and his total.
If it had been 18d10, it would have been 297 points of damage.
With some speculation. If we're going to the averages, right?
Yeah, that's 100%. That's the average. The average damage would have been 297 for those 3 rounds that he took. Yeah, so he took damage for 3 rounds. It's submerged in the lava, and for so I just for fun on my dice app on my phone, I rolled, and my phone literally rolled, the dice app rolled an average of 300 every time. It was like 290, 200, 310, 303. I did it like 4 or 5 times. It was all around hovering around 300 points of damage. Right. So I think that's why. Just I was like, okay, this is why. Because if it had been 18d10, they would have never got the shard ever, not a chance.
Yeah, and I think that was perhaps part of the plan.
Yep.
We're hiding behind the fact that hey, it's a magical thing instead of something else.
Yeah.
And there were some resistances as well, which is that's still a little.
He had a ring which it minuses 1d10 or something like that.
Yeah, so he had that damage. 7 the first when he dove in. Yeah,
and then he had a bunch of 7 temporary hit points, and then it was like he rolled a I forget what it is. Yeah. But anyway, as opposed, he took 74 points of damage, and then a whole bunch of damage from he was holding it. Just little minor points of damage, but yeah, it was interesting.
How much was it? 2d6, 3d6 when he was holding it?
I don't know. It was very minimal because he said a 2 and then a 4 and then a 3 and then a 3.
There was a 2 in there.
Yeah, so it was like maybe a d6.
Maybe a d6. Maybe did he take any more than 6? I thought he had a 7.
No, 2, 4, and 3 and 3.
Oh, probably a d6. Yeah,
might have been a d6 maybe. Could have been d4. Who knows? Man, fuck it. Could have been a 2d6. You have no idea, right? But yeah, trying to figure that out. Again, don't have a problem with this. I'm just kind of curious why. It would have been like, is it? Yeah. I don't know.
This is one of those, Matthew, please come on the next 4-sided dive. I mean, he should be contractually obligated to do it.
Well, just the whole fact that humans don't, or anything, even if you want to talk to Genasi and Ferns of Sat or Fawn, whatever you want to call them, the fact is they would never sink in, they would never submerge into lava. It's impossible.
Yeah,
you can't do it.
It's like standing on rock, is what it is.
Yeah. Even pushing into is incredibly difficult. You can watch
slightly less dense than rock.
You can watch people cook pork on lava in like magma. Lava
right on top.
Flows in Hawaii. They're like they're pressing it in, and it doesn't go. It doesn't go in.
Yeah. Because of the fluid nature of it, the shape of it can change, yes, but to dig into it and actually be submerged,
sploosh, and dive in and like.
Sorry to bust people's balls that don't like physics, but just you're hearing it here first.
It's D&D. It's all good. It's fine, but it just my brain went, I don't like this.
Yep.
Whatever. It's
hitting it hurts worse than hitting water. Yeah. But I've got plenty more on this. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go in.
Your turn.
Chronological order as best as I can. But since you mentioned the little nugget mephits. I'm gonna yes and with I found there were lots of similarities between them and the little Diabolos.
Yeah, Dobolos.
Dobolos? What were they called? Was that right?
I forget. I don't remember. Yeah,
I just remember it was like something like
very much.
In particular, when one of them, like the very short-lived elder. Was like fire, and all the rest of them fire, because that's exactly what the other little nuggets did too.
Yes, they did.
And we're in this similar area where Titans have died. Maybe they're created from another shard of some sort.
Perhaps, or just because the nature of this shard being in the shattered teeth, maybe that's the very nature of the let's talk about that for a quick second.
Oh, that's a different island,
all the islands being created from Dominus, which was shattered by Asmodeus. Who is, or by the Asmodeus and the other demons and devils, they're, the iconography with them being, devils from hell, which is fire and fire and fire. So maybe it's remnants of that kind of destruction. I don't know.
Yeah, and maybe we'll find something out. Maybe we won't. Hey, there's lots of shit in campaign. Lots of shit in campaign 2 we never got to, but that's why they have the campaign wrap up, so they can ask Matthew. It should just basically be a panel with Matthew at the helm, just like 3 hours. Let's go.
Hey, can you explain this? When they went there, why did this happen? So what else was there?
Yeah, what else didn't we see?
I don't know. We'll see. I think I still get the feeling that there's going to be a big apocalypse. And that there will be a reboot. I still have that feeling.
Yeah, I think so too, and that'd be nice. So fuck 3 hours. Let's say 8-hour session where big fans like yourself and myself. Matthew will sit there with a device.
At the end of campaign 2.
Matthew will sit there with a device and be like, okay, just like toss evergreen questions like, if you were a cocktail, what would you drink from your fucking nose? No, forget those. But be like, hey, in campaign 1, this was here and this was here. Can you tell us anything more about this? Yeah. Now that Exandria is fucking gone after campaign 3, we're assuming, we're predicting. You can say everything about it if you want
Yeah,
to
you
now.
could.
As opposed to like the campaign wrap up in campaign 2, he's like, I can't really say that because it might come up in the next campaign. God damn it. But this time we might get the chance to, you know, if everything gets destroyed and he's gonna build a whole new world, which I really think that's what they have to do if they're gonna keep going. Yeah, it'd be great if we could just have an open forum where Matthew can visit every now and then and just answer those questions, you know.
Lore. Just lore drops all the time.
Just every question answered as it comes up, you know. And then honest answers too, where he's like, actually, I didn't honestly think of that. So that's a very good point. But that, you know, maybe that's why you should be on the writing panel. There's no writing panel.
Yeah. Oh,
all right,
man.
If we're going to get through these, we got to hurry up.
Let's go. Rolly.
Rolly. Let's do it.
8. I got
8.
You got an 8?
Rigged. Tim wins? No, we're rolling again.
Double rollies.
Hey, are we doubling down?
What does that mean?
Whoever wins this gets to say 2 things.
No.
Fuck. All right.
19. I should have
9.
said yes.
Damn it. Come on, this is my Mercer die.
Oh, dude. Okay. Nope. This is all just plot stuff. All right, I'm gonna jump straight to. I want to talk about everything. I'd love to talk about Orum's fucking epic attack sequence because I wrote it all down and it was amazing.
The action economy was there. It was okay.
So good. It was so good.
I'm asking you, the economy was okay.
It's totally fine.
Okay.
He misexplained. He gets 3 attacks. But he did misexplain where he gets the itchy ear today. He misexplained where he gets his 6th. He should only have 5 superiority dies, but he has 6, and he misexplained why. He said it was fighting initiate, but it fighting initiate, I think, as far as I could tell, doesn't do that. Fighting initiate allows you to choose weapons. I think he meant martial adept. Somebody else said he meant something else as well, but I think he misexplained it. It doesn't matter. There are 100% ways to get 6 superiority dice. So however he did it, it was fucking cool.
Yeah. But I thought it was nice of him to mention it, you know, for the viewers. Yeah. Even if it was a mistake, it was nice. I was
watching it and I'm like, I don't even care that you did that. Your action economy was perfect because the action surge was brilliant. It's 1, 2, 3. So he did 101 points of damage on that.
Ooh, really? With the lava,
18, 18, 19, 14, 17, 15. And every...
Should have been a lot more with the lava.
Well, the lava didn't have a chance to, right? Because it was all he's doing is stab.
Well, didn't he do a push to get it submerged completely? Or am I thinking of a different turn?
He pushed into the lava on his 2nd attack. We pushed 15 feet in, which did 33 points of lava damage. I didn't include that.
Oh, you didn't include that?
No.
Oh, really?
So with the lava damage, it's 134 points of damage. But I don't include the lava damage because Orum himself did 101 points with his sword.
Wow. Well, a quick little sidestep there. With him, I'm pretty sure Matthew said, like, well, they're in the lava, but they're not completely submerged, so I'll give you a 60-10, right? And then didn't he do right? Didn't he do that?
I think
he's like, I'll give you 60-10 because they're not completely submerged. So, you know, submerged is 8. But then he did a push attack to try to push them completely under.
Yeah. Fail.
And they all failed.
Only the second one succeeded to push into the lava.
Right.
And then he kept trying to push down.
He kept pushing him down to submerge.
The Ryloran kept succeeding the strength saving throw.
They're pretty fucking strong.
They're strong. It was a big,
especially relative to Orum.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
So I'd love to spend a lot of time talking about that, but I'm not gonna. What I'm gonna talk about, which I found fucking fascinating, is that when Ludinus, right after that attack, Ludinus, who's in the, so they do the wall, the stone shape around him. The wall.
Fern does, right?
Fern does the wall of stone, and then Imogen does the seething storm, which to blind him, which it was. Again, learning things like just because you're blind doesn't mean you can't hold concentration on a spell.
Right. Matthew made clear to make that, you know, it's like, it doesn't mean I can't hold it. It just means I can't do it.
And like, you can see Laura, the look of disappointment in Laura's face. She's like, oh.
It was still a bright move.
Great move.
You just can't do it because you can't see him. It's great.
Yes, great move. But then the wonderful thing when he dimension doors and then quickens a spell to do it, and they're all like, "What? Quickens a spell? Did Ludinus take levels in Sorcerer?" And they're like, "No, that's something." And Matt's like, "Meta Magic Adept, actually." And I was like, "Wow!"
Oh, he just told us.
He just straight up told us what it is, and I'm like,
I didn't catch that.
that's fascinating. So I was like, Meta Magic Adept. I know that feat. So I looked at it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, which was published after they met Ludinus.
Which was published after they met Ludinus.
Yeah. So they meet Ludinus in episode 18. No, sorry. Ludinus, I looked this up because I had to. I'm like, wait a minute. When did they first hear about Ludinus Deleth? They first hear about Ludinus Deleth in Campaign 2, episode 18, when Caleb is talking about all the people in the Cerberus Assembly, and they first meet him in episode 48. That's 2018. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
There you go.
Is published in 2020, 2 years later. So the feat that Ludinus is thousands of years, hundreds of years old. Who even fucking knows? The feat that he would have taken, the Meta Magic Adept feat he would have taken, was taken before the feat was created. It's like, Matt, you sneaky.
Oh, that's brilliant, though. I love that.
Yeah.
Huh. And of course you can get away with it. It's like, hey, man.
100%.
Just because I learned about it after his creation doesn't mean you can't have it.
100%, because that kind of feat would just be something that would happen anyway. You're like, well, of course, a dude who's studying magic for hundreds of years, just because he didn't have a name for it doesn't mean that he was able to do it. Yeah. Because that's what people who do.
There you go. That's what wizards do, right? That's what Caleb's doing all the time.
Right. So like he talked about this when Caleb and Hot Boy, what's his name?
Valex. Nope. Not
Shadowhand. Essek. When Caleb and Essek are creating that spell to transform Veth, not back into Veth, he's like, this is what wizards do. You know this. When they don't have a spell, they make one. So a wizard like Ludinus Deleth, who is like, he's probably been level 20 for 700 of those 720 years. He's of course he's created this thing. So I was like, but it did make me laugh when Matt called it out, which is interesting because
it's a really good catch, dude.
Matt let a lot of stuff go. He dropped a lot of DCs in this episode. He was like, well, the DC was 12, so that's fine. The DC was with your help, the DC went from 25 to 20. Sorry, am I stealing your thunder here? No.
Apologies. It's still relevant.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is something interesting because he dropped the Meta Magic Adept on us, and I was like, wow, that's something that young Matt, the Matt before wouldn't have done. And it seemed like he was doing that in this one. And I sort of it got me to thinking, is he doing that because this is an encounter with Ludinus, and as opposed to him just blasting through all of Bell's Hells, Matt feels obligated to sort of explain a little bit more.
Yeah, and I mean, this isn't really a yes, but I felt like I've got a few things that I want to say here that are relevant to what you were just saying there with like the DCs.
Go ahead and just say them. Drop them.
I don't want to say railroading, but I felt like Matthew had something that he really wanted to happen.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna come up.
Okay.
That's basically my three biggest points is those ones right there, and we're already at 45 minutes. So.
Well, then let's go.
Let me go ahead and yes and with this quick one real quick.
And.
I'm going to chronological order here. FCG has this weird portal spell, and I'm not understanding what the fuck it was. I watched the episode twice, and I figured the first time through, I was like, what the hell? What is this thing? It's like 5 feet long, and you can change the shape of it or whatever. It's 5 feet max, And it's like, oh, it's 1 foot wide, maybe. What the hell is this?
Stone shape.
Oh, stone shape.
That's a real simple one. That's stone shape. When they were in the lava, in the magma tube, the lava tube, magma tube, whatever you want to call it, And he's like, the bottom is really porous. I'm going to do stone shape, which is a 5-foot cube. But I'm going to make it so that it's a little bit funnel shaped. So it doesn't just take 5 feet straight out. It more starts at 5 feet and then tapers down into a funnel. So there's just like a little hole at the bottom that they can sort of peek through. So they don't drop a whole section of the floor out.
How do you peek through magma or lava?
No, this was the rock. It was porous rock. So this was this was right above the lava pool, the pond where the shard was in. When they were first coming, they came down the chimney, and then Orem pulled the skull out, and that crumbled, that opened it up, and they dropped into like this little chamber. And when they opened up a little, FCG did the stone shape, and he created a funnel looking like basically like a little spy hole where they could just sort of peek through, and underneath, through that little peep through, that was the roof of that pumpkin shaped chamber. They then were able to see the lava pool underneath.
This is okay. That all makes sense. The only thing that is confusing me is like when he was communicating with Ladna.
Yep.
She was like,
"Oh,
those
conversations
going to be a thing
were
that
nonsense."
it sounded like there was a portal of some sort that they're creating where it's like,
yeah,
hey, lava might come spewing out.
Right, because
they
had
had that
said,
doesn't happen with stone shape.
No,
stone shape is
but
a localized spell.
Because everything in that chamber was all charred.
Right, and it was pretty easy to break off, right?
Yes,
as Orem found out.
Right, and so they were thinking that, well, maybe if we break it in, if we break through, the lava might all spew up. They didn't realize that they had opened up into another chamber. So FCG was sort of like, it's okay. The lava didn't come up. We thought it might, but it didn't. So it did. Now we're good. So you got to come down here and we'll all go down.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
that makes
those conversations, those messaging conversations they're super confusing, and that's just Sam RPing as FCG, and FCG is not the sharpest tool in the drawer.
No, the character is not. Sam is pretty fucking bright, but
yeah, of course he is, and he's playing brilliantly at being not so brilliant.
Like if I had heard, which happens so quickly when you're just like, if it's in your pocket or whatever, or if you're riding a bike and like somebody passes you and you're like, you motherfucker, you can miss very quickly. Someone saying, I want to cast stone shape, like 100%. That takes 2 seconds to say and 2 seconds to ignore it or not hear it. So, okay, that makes sense. Thank you for clearing that up for me.
No
Appreciate
problem.
that.
Yeah, I mean, and it also became later on in the episode, from about the 3.5 hour point to the end of the episode, the fucking crosstalk at the table was off the charts.
Yeah,
Matt was. I don't know if you watched that last little bit, the last 45 minutes or so of the battle, but it was Matt at a couple of points standing up, going, "Okay, guy." He wanted to say stop. I could tell. I could see it in his eyes and his facial expression. He was like, "Stop! You're dipping toes into metagaming here. Like you can't."
I felt like there was quite a bit of metagaming.
Yeah, well, it was and it wasn't, because they never flat out did it, but there was so much crosstalk that it was like you're getting dangerously close. A lot of table talk.
It's like, the
but they were
similarities
scared.
and differences between table talk,
there's a reason why.
metagaming,
They were
and crosstalk.
Terrified. They were so nervous and scared. And like at one point, I wrote down, where the hell is it? Everything. I wrote it down. Everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. Where I wrote it down. I don't even remember where I wrote it down. I was like, everything I do is wrong.
Oh man, I want to get through these things. I think I could wrap
3 hours 15. Sam, every move is wrong. Every move, everything.
Yeah.
Nope, that's
getting
wrong.
Farther away, getting
wrong.
closer.
Going backwards is wrong. Doing that, wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. I've been there so many times in D&D as a player. You're like, what the fuck do I do here? If I do this, I feel that'll be wrong. If I do this, I'll be wrong. If I do that, I'll be wrong. It's like, I'm just going to do this, and I know it's wrong.
Nothing,
but I'm still
it's
wrong.
Do it. You can't do nothing. Yeah.
Right, and that's a weird one, because I'm just going to say to anybody who's playing D&D out there, yes, you're going to feel like the things you do are wrong, and that's wonderful.
It's part of the game.
You need to get into that mode where you just do it, and you hope for the best, prepare for the worst, and when it's the worst thing, or it feels like it's the worst, it probably isn't the worst, but it feels like it, lean into it. Be awesome with that wrongness, and just be like, this is great. The DM is going to make things uncomfortable for you, and you have to embrace it. You have to. DM's not gonna a DM that just that punishes you harshly for making mistakes is not a table. You shouldn't be sticking around that table for long anyway. If it's consistently happening, get up and walk away. That table is not a pleasant table to be at. Find a better table. Play with people that care about the story. That's all. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest.
You heard it here. He didn't prepare that speech at all.
All right, rollies.
All right, let's do it. You can rapid fire through 3 of these things with a nat 20.
Really?
Yep. What'd you got?
I got a nat 30.
I'm taking this one, you son of a bitch.
Derp. It's yours.
All right, I'm going chronological order here. All right, so we already got FGG spell. We already did the diabolos or whatever the fuck they're called.
Yep.
I'm going to go with this. I'm just going to read it kind of off of here. Okay, so we already talked about the physics of diving into lava and how it's not even. Okay, let's get past that. Let's say it's a liquid you can dive in. Okay, that's what they did.
Yep.
When he got in there, he was like white hot pain, white hot. You can't see anything, and it's just pain all over your body.
Yep.
And he says, you're blind from the pain.
Yep.
And then he gives him advantage to search for the thing because it's really close to him.
Yep.
And it's like, wait, you just said he's blind. You just said he's blind. And now you're giving him advantage for this thing.
Yeah.
And then also, after he grabs it and finds it, like he rolled a natural 20 plus 7, I think, for 27. Was that the natural 20? I don't remember.
Yeah, 20, natural 20 plus 8, 28.
Yeah, yeah. And then he said, like, well, the DC was 12.
Yep.
You know, and it's like, what do you mean it's 12?
While he's raging. So it's advantage. It gave him advantage. Raging already gives him. Well, no, not an investigation. Give him advantage while he's raging, and then he's like, yeah, your DC just to investigate is 12. Yeah, it was a little weird.
And
I agree with you.
Well over 20, you know, but he also said he's blind. And Matthew says you don't find how many advantages or how many disadvantages. If there's one advantage, if there's one disadvantage, it's a regular fucking roll.
Yes.
This is something I understand about the game, correct?
Yes. Correct.
And Matthew still gave him advantage because Matthew really wanted him to find that stone.
100%.
That's the only explanation.
Yes.
And because he made the DC 12.
Here's my take on that. Like
not where
he dove in. So it's a big pool, right? If you looked at
he went right in the middle,
You dive in the middle where the roiling and boiling is.
Yeah, it was like 30 feet across, right? Just right
that
in the middle,
in my mind, if you dive in right in the middle there of a pool. So imagine you dive into a swimming pool, and you're like, I dive right into the middle, and I close my eyes. I'm going to reach down to the bottom. I get it. Like I think you could probably find. It was like a fist or a big size chunk of shard. It's not a little thing. Like trying to find a quarter.
I didn't see. Oh yeah, he said, how big is it?
Like the size, like a
volleyball.
Big, about that. It was like a big. Matt sort of did like it's a shape like this.
Okay, Wilson.
So like
right.
So like a volleyball maybe size, about that. He said it was a white. It was a weird description. A white crystal with orange. What did he say? It was a weird one. I wrote it down.
I don't remember.
A bright orange white crystal cluster. Still burning. Those
bright
were his
orange
words.
White crystal.
Yeah, bright orange white crystal.
Okay.
Okay. So
I can picture that.
So can I. It's like a cluster, right? Like not just one crystal. It's like a bunch of crystals.
Like so maybe in the animated intro where he picks
up
that green thing and it kind of looks like that.
Yeah. Yes. That's actually very, very close to what I was thinking too.
That's what I pictured.
So yeah, I get it. I can actually see that. Giving it a DC of 12 with advantage is weird. I would say maybe it should be a straight roll with the DC of 12, but
it should be straight roll.
Yeah, probably.
The DC didn't bother me, you know, but like the fact that he was like, yeah, I'm going to give you advantage. You just said he's blind, and everybody knows how that works. And that's when I was like, what? I became Ben watching the show, you know. I'm like, hold on a second. So I wrote that down, and then I continued watching. And then these other two things that I'm going to talk to really quickly are going to come up too, but not right now because it's your turn to yes and on that one.
On that note, I felt I'll just yes and straight up with the this is
Probably
this
my
is,
next point.
might be. I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so this is going to be why they were there. Why did Ludinus and two Rylorans and two Ruby Vanguards show up?
They scryed on them.
Right, but why did they go? Why were they there? They scryed on them. Great. Why did they come?
Oh, to parlay, yeah, but what about?
Yeah, what about? Did they want the thing?
I'm sure.
Right. So they want it. Why didn't he take it? He had opportunity to. He let Chetney grab it from Ashton and then stuff it in the bag of holding and then go invisible. There's no way that Ludinus doesn't get a chance to do anything before that.
Do you think he has true sight?
If Matt really wanted Ludinus to have the thing, Ludinus would have had the thing. And I just feel like they missed Bell's Hells, the cast, whatever you want to call them, the cast at the table, and the characters, whatever you want to say. I think they missed the point of the entire encounter.
Yeah, because the parlay didn't happen.
Right, and I mean, I'm not saying that Laura fucked up and went like, fuck you, I'm going to interrupt your speech. And brilliant move. I love that move. I think it's exactly what she would have done. It's amazing. I think that they were so concerned about him taking the thing that they missed the point because 100% I was thinking that too, but then I was like, wait, well, why isn't he taking it? Why is he concentrating on taking Fern? Why is he concentrating on kidnapping her? And then he's like, we need a quiet place to talk here. That whole, and then I think they started to realize that, oh, wait a minute, what is he doing? I still don't think, and I'm not quite sure that I understand what he was doing there. I mean, okay, let's be honest. We know it wasn't him. It was either a clone or a simulacrum. I'm not totally sure which one it was. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. Neither here nor there.
I'm thinking simulacrum if they're gonna, get him that close.
Maybe, except that the hit points don't add up for that to happen because the simulacrum has half the hit points, and he took at level 20. He shouldn't have had much more than 100 and something hit points, and half of that would have been, say, to be generous, 60. It did way more damage than that. Huh. So it's tough to sort of say if that was a simulacrum or not. It again, homebrew shit. Who the fuck knows, right? But I sort of feel like it was maybe a clone of some kind,
feels like,
or something along those lines. But there's something about the whole thing was off. Is like, why is he there? What did Matt really want Ludinus to do? And I think we get right at the very end, which is, I'm not going to yes and because that's my yes and. I'd like to yes and it right now with a rollie.
Okay, let me say something before we roll.
Go.
Let's remember the manipulation level skill that he had when he got Keyleth to show up just to get Vax for the lens. That is top tier, multi-leveled manipulation.
Somebody on chat commented that his intelligence is a minimum of 22 because he added a +6 to his ability check, which would have been, which is 22 minimum. Who knows what it actually is, because this wasn't a Ludinus. This was a clone-ish thing. So Ludinus
some kind of
whatever it may be, which definitely had an intelligence of 22. So Ludinus's actual intelligence might even be higher than that. Who knows?
Maybe because Ludinus has been around for so damn long that maybe he kind of studied how Pike was able to do this astral projection in different places.
Yep.
Maybe he studied that and kind of figured it out a little bit better. Who knows? Just throwing that out there.
Could be.
But we're rolling right now because we're running out of time.
3 again.
With a 2.
What? Okay. All right.
Have you gotten all of them so far?
No, you got the natural 20.
Oh, I got the 20. That's right. But you got the natural 30. So.
Yeah. So I don't have much more I want to say. I'm just going to go right into it because I have a
yes and that's directly related.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I'm just going to say this counterspell debacle has the social medias in a tizzy.
I didn't write this down, but I have something to say about it.
Okay. So there's a lot of problems with the way Matt did this counterspell thing at the very end. And
was it the 19? Is that what was wrong with it?
No, there's like mechanic problems with it.
Okay.
So it's the way counterspell works raw that has people upset. And it had me upset until I sort of went like, well, fuck, why am I getting upset about Raw? Because it doesn't make any sense. This is a game. And I immediately reminded myself, I was yelling at the TV when I was watching. I'm like, that's not how Counterspell works. I'm like, yeah, who cares? It was a fucking amazing moment. And Matt is playing this game for them, not for us.
Yeah.
He said that at the San Diego Comic-Con a few months ago, right?
He reminds us every year. Yeah.
I'm playing this game. I'm creating this game for them, not for you and us, the audience. So fuck us. Like, who cares? It's not for us. But I'm just going to say it anyway because it deserves being said.
I'd like to hear this. I had a couple of questions about it. Go ahead.
At 3, what is it?
Timestamp.
Timestamp. So at 3:57:38, Ludinus starts to do the thing, and Marisha says
some kind of spell, which I did not recognize because he said 30 seconds. 30.
We know it. Yeah, we know
radius.
What it is. There's only one.
What is it?
It's weird.
Ultima from Final Fantasy VII.
No,
6.
It's weird.
What is it? Weird.
Weird.
It's called Weird.
Yes, that's the spell name.
The spell is called Weird.
Yeah, it's called Weird. So Weird is a carryover from other editions. It's been in D&D for years and years, many editions, multiple editions. I don't know how far back it goes. I meant to look that up. I forgot. It's a 9th level spell. It's 120 foot casting distance.
Okay.
So really far. 30-foot radius. It's a wisdom save, and if you fail, you are frightened for the duration, which is concentration up to 1 minute. At the beginning of every one of your turns, your deepest fear manifests itself in your mind, and you take 4d10 psychic damage.
Wow. So it's like Phantasmal Force plus
but
fear.
It's on steroids. The point of it is that it would have given, this is the point, is that it would have given Ludinus knowledge of every single one of their deepest fears.
How would he know about their deepest fear?
Because that's what
he
the
can
spell,
read their mind?
Spell, I don't know. That part is unknown. Maybe.
He's been alive for a long time, perhaps.
Maybe Ludinus has tweaked the spell to the point where he just knows. He's like, I'm aware of all of your deepest fears, and that's why you take psychic damage about it. Maybe they're forced. He's tweaked the spell, so they're forced to tell him. Oh no, I can't believe it's my whatever. A horse is kicking me in the face repeatedly over and over again. That's
like some kind of shitty rom-com.
It would be. I imagine Laudna and Imogen's worst fear would be them dying in front of themselves. Aurum would be his watching, being unable to join Will in the afterlife. Ashton, I don't even know what Ashton's would be. FCG would be that he never had a soul to begin with. I don't know what their worst fears would be. I find it fascinating that Matt wanted them to tell him what your worst fear would be as your character.
So in the spell, it says that they have to divulge what it is?
No, but I think that's what they would do. It doesn't say that, not specifically.
I imagine Matthew would ask them and be like, so what is it that you are seeing right now? I imagine you go across the whole table.
Yes.
And that was a good time in the episode for that, for them to go through that and then kind of end it at that point and see what happens next.
Every turn they make the wisdom, they remake the wisdom save again and again and again, and then they take 4d10 psychic damage every turn.
Oof.
So it's not a lot of damage, but it's cumulative. So for up to 1 minute,
for up to a minute, that's 10 rounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless they can shake it.
Unless they shake it, and
but then also
to it.
They are.
It's not the damage that Ludinus wanted. It's the knowledge. 100%. 100%. He wanted the knowledge of what it was.
Which is they touched on at the end because they were like, well, now he knows this about us. He knows that she has counterspell is what they said relative to this conversation.
Definitely. So anyway, that's what that spell was. What I did want to say is here's the problems with it. So Marisha counterspells this 9th level spell, which is weird. And it had to be, there's no doubt about it, unless it was some homebrew thing.
What he means is the spell was called Weird.
Yeah.
It wasn't weird that she counterspelled it. She rolled a nat 20.
Marisha counterspells at level 3. She has a +5. She needs the 14 to make the 19 because the DC is 19. It's a level 9 spell. The DC starts at 10 plus the spell level, so that makes a DC of 19. Marisha rolls the 14.
That answers my question. Okay.
Yeah, she rolled the 14. She didn't roll a nat 20. Laura screamed out, "Did you roll a nat 20?" And then everybody was like,
Oh, it
"Yeah,
wasn't a
20.
nat
Oh my
20.
God, holy shit. No, it was a 14. She
just
said, "I
hit it.
rolled a 14."
Oh, okay.
She nailed the 14, which is what she needed. She took the picture of it.
I missed that both times.
Yeah, but yeah. Then they go through all of this. A minute and a bit goes by. And then Matt's like, okay, Matt describes it. He's like, okay, you feel this in your minds and you feel the fear, and then it's gone. And then he says,
I'm going to try to counterspell.
He's going to counterspell you. You can't do that. You can't say you're going to counterspell after the counterspell has already happened. You have to say when the counterspell is called, this is raw. You read as written. You rules as written. You have to say it when the first counterspell is called.
So you battle the counterspell, like in Magic the Gathering.
When Marisha said counterspell, Matt has to say, okay,
he's going to counter also. He did it very well in campaign 2.
Yes, exactly.
They had like 3 in a row or something like that, and it's like counterspell.
100%. So the second, and that brings us to problem number 2. He rolls the dice for that counterspell. That Ludinous counterspell is the counterspell.
But hers was at level...
Marisha counterspelled at level 3. She even said it. Yeah.
And
counterspell automatically succeeds.
Yeah, his counterspell would automatically succeed, right?
Succeed without a roll. Yes.
Because he would cast it at a higher level?
At level 3.
Level 3, it just
succeeds. If the spell is 3rd level or lower, it automatically succeeds. And Marisha said I cast it at level 3. I don't think Laudna. I don't think Laudna can cast higher than that. There's a chance that she has enough levels in Warlock that would have bumped that up, because Warlocks cast at their top level. So Marisha might have misread it, but it doesn't matter. She said level 3, so that's what it was. That's all Matt had to go at.
I only heard her saying that to Sam, I think.
No, she said it to Matt. Matt was like, "You cast it at level 3, right?" And she's like, "Yes." And so he's like, "Okay, level 3," and then he rolls the dice.
Oh, and then you have to roll 19 or higher.
He needs a 13, and he rolled a 12.
6, yeah.
Yeah, he rolled a 6 plus 6. That's what the plus 6 was. So there's
it
two
should have
big
automatically
things,
canceled her counterspell, but he didn't quite do it right.
Yes, but he didn't do it right, so he did the thing with rolled in front of the screen, in front of them all, which is a wonderful thing to do. I love it.
So he tried to get a 13. He got a 12, right?
He got a 12. Yeah. The DC is 10 plus the spell level, which is 3, so it's 10 plus 3. He got a 6 plus 6, which is a 12.
But a level 3 counterspell, if you counterspell that, it just counters.
Automatically. Any
but
spell
if you're level 4,
the
it's
description
a 14
of the spell
DC.
is any spell of 3rd level or lower automatically succeeds.
Right. But if she would count it if she could cast it at level 4, then it'd be a 14 DC.
Then it would have been a 14 DC, and then he would have missed it.
Oh, that's a big old fuck up, isn't it?
It's a big one. It's a big thing.
Old fuck up.
Now, everybody in chat, so I didn't watch this the first time with chat on, but then the second time I watched, I'm like, I know what I'm gonna, and sure enough, everybody's like, no, and then a bunch of other people are like, hey man, it's homebrew, like let them do what they want. This is a moment. You let and then the nasty comes out, and everyone's like, yeah, Matt giving his wife a win, ha ha ha. And I'm like, this is why I hate watching chat. And it's like, okay, it's cool, it's all good. This is what you're doing. I get it. And I, as I said right at the beginning, I'm like, I'm not hating on this thing. I'm just like, this is how counterspell works. Consistency is a bit of an issue with me because he did do this in other campaigns and now he's not in this one, and so that's a little bit of an issue. But again, this is a moment in an episode that was really epic, and a DM should let them have the win because he's telling the story for them, not for us. So, well done.
Yes.
That's it.
Let's keep this going. 2 more quick rollies.
Go. Okay, no, that was mine.
Should I yes and?
Yes, you yes and, because that was my 3 over your 2.
At 2 hours, 1 minute, 28 seconds. Timestamp GIF. I'm going to have to make up one of those. Okay. Sam, FCG was talking about a sympathetic binding, right?
Yep.
And then there were so many things wrong with this. So there's sympathetic binding, and then he's in lava. So Matthew says, like, well, you can't see him. And then Sam says, it says I don't have to be able to see them. Yep. And then he continues reading it, and he says very clearly, when they take damage from an attack. He wasn't attacked. It's just lava.
Yeah.
You know, and then Matthew was like, and then again, I was thinking like, wait, he's in lava. You know,
Yeah.
he's taking damage because
Yes.
he's in lava,
Yes.
unless for some reason he's magically not taking damage from lava. That whole
There's a lot of
sequence
hand
there, I
waving.
was like, Matthew, what are you doing, man? You're like,
Yeah,
you're
so-
handing things over, or you're panicking in some sense. There's
It's
a lot
little
going
hand.
on
It was
there
a little
that just,
hand
like,
wavy. Again, I think this goes right to what I just said. He's letting them have this because it's fun for the story. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it comes back to
don't know, but-
splashing into lava. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yep.
And then no advantage, you know,
Yep.
or like advantage and no advantage, and
without-
not
yeah,
canceling out.
right.
DC of 12 because you're looking for it. And then also, I just want to give him, or I want to take half the hit points. It's like, I don't need to see them. I just need to know that they're. No, it wouldn't work because they have to be attacked, taking damage from an attack. So it wouldn't have worked anyway. They both kind of canceled each other out, basically.
Sure. Okay,
And,
I got another rollie.
Not
Let's go.
being negative. We got one more rollie left in
Yeah,
us,
we
folks.
love this episode for what it's worth.
It's great. Yeah, the episode was fantastic. You should definitely check it out. You got your nat 20 now?
Natural one.
Natural 1. I got my 13, which is right next to a natural 1. Am I showing you the right place? 13 and 1 right there. Okay. And then just keeping this going. When you get out of, let's say, a pool, like let's say you're going for a nice swim. And when you get out of a pool, it's not like, hey, I'm out of water. I'm dry now.
Uh-huh.
No, okay. You're in this molten liquid stone,
Yep.
which is dense
It's
as fuck.
definitely- it's
You have to
definitely
climb out of it
clean.
instead of
Oh,
fly
yeah.
out of it. Whatever. We'll
You're-
bypass that. We're not doing physics here. But when you get out, you're still covered with the same shit that you were just in. You know?
Yeah, the way he
With-
described, you see Ashton glowing bright orange. I'm like, you
Yeah,
mean
but you
bright
see him
orange 'cause
cooling
he's
off.
covered in lava, like,
Or
he'd be
that, yeah, or that like it's just kind of somehow with him. I understand there might be some leeway just because he's a stone and he's got the Titan blood.
Fern did have that bubble around her, which that flame shield thing that she had up. So maybe that protects her.
Yeah, that's a bubble. I thought it was just a protection.
It's a protective shell of flame that makes her resistant to fire.
Okay, well that because I was thinking that they only talked about how Ashton was glowing with the same kind
Yeah.
of glow as the magma.
Yes. Yeah, they kind of Matt
then
should have
Fern.
probably given Fern a little bit more damage. He only
Because she still
rolled
has it on her.
once. Yeah, he only
know?
rolled it once for her.
Every
Doesn't look like
time they
fire
have acid
shield.
on them, unless they clean the acid off, they take acid damage.
Yep.
Every time until someone prestidigitates that shit off, or I guess it only lasts like a few rounds or something like that. But they just kind of just like conveniently forgot about Fern having lava, fucking molten magna all over her body.
Yep.
Because she just got taken out of a liquid.
It is a 4th level spell.
What is?
So for fire
her-
shield. Her fire
Okay.
shield. I'm just looking at it now. It's a 4th level spell. It does say the flames provide you with a warm shield or a chill shield as you choose. It's yeah. I don't know.
Was it a bubble or is it like a
Not
layer
really.
over the
Not
skin?
really. No,
So
it's kind of just surrounds you and emits light and protects out. So maybe it's so the way that
I'll
it
accept
would
that.
the way that it grants. So here's another thing: the way that it grants fire resistance is it's a chill shield. So it's projecting out cold. So maybe that's pushing the lava away from clinging to her. Perhaps you can sort of rationalize
Yeah,
that.
sure. It's got to eat through it or whatever.
Okay. I think we should probably end this on this note because we're getting deep into this episode, into this thing.
Yeah,
here.
we could do this for another hour, I'm sure.
Sure. So I'd like to quickly talk about Ashton's reluctance to jam this thing into himself. I think the tree of atrophy definitely told him, Yvonne Trevere definitely told Ashton that it's his destiny to take this, and he seems unwilling to do it. He's pushing it off on Fern. And I'm wondering what your take on that is. Do you think he's right, or do you think I think he's wrong? I think Taliesin is overthinking this, over dramatizing this one. Taliesin is with Ashton. I think he's making a mistake by saying that Ashton doesn't want it, when I think from everything we've seen, Ashton would definitely want this. Even at the risk, like, I don't think he's concerned about the risk of exploding by having too much power in him at all. I think he
wouldn't care about
Taliesin,
that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think Taliesin,
he has no self-worth.
Is like, no, let's let my friend Fern have this. I don't think that's what Ashton would do. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, he's playing him as a punk, and punks value family over all else.
Sure.
So maybe
anti-establishment.
What do you think? Well, yeah, what do you think?
Okay, at one point, Matthew, I think it was when both Fern and him were underneath, and he grabbed it, and he had the assistance where the DC was down to 20, but they got a 27 together, or he got a 27 with her assistance.
Yep.
And I think it was in that description where Matthew said, you remember what Atrevere said? Avantravir said.
Yes.
And it was like, it was your destiny and her destiny. He said that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a slip of the tongue, but he was like, it was your destiny and her destiny also. And I was like, wait, hold on.
I caught that too. I'm not sure. It gets weird, right? Like, is it his destiny to take it and give it to her, or?
But he said it was your destiny to be here. You know? But he said it was yours and hers to be here.
And because then he says, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to take it. And I was like, I don't know what to think about that.
I'm not really sure either. Just based on the lore that we got, that huge dump in the last episode,
it feels like everything that Matt was doing to sort of tell Ashton that it's not working, was to get them to realize that they needed that stupid funnel vest thing.
Which he kind of just offered it out.
Well, because they rolled high enough. Somebody, whoever it was, rolled high enough to get that knowledge check. I think it was Imogen, or it was somebody, and then Laura was like, we're so stupid. We need that thing. Yeah. Yeah. And so I sort of feel like he's like, that's you guys need this little bit of, you're missing this little piece of the puzzle.
But then who gets it? Who puts on the funnel and who absorbs this power?
We may find out next episode.
We got the Emperor, the Empress, like, because Ashton's got the Empress.
They're on their way to they're on their way to meet the terrible Tinker of Taldore and the rest of the crew. So
that's what's really cool about this episode.
There's some fun things that may happen next episode, because Vex may finally learn about Vax if she doesn't already know. Vex may find out about them fucking over the Church of the Dawnfather when she was. Remember Vex's history about the church with the Dawnfather from Campaign 1.
Like when they went to see them.
Well, they visited him.
Yeah.
Vox Machina went there.
Yeah. What
happened
there? I don't remember.
It's very vague with me, but I'm pretty sure Vex was like granted a boon by the Dawnfather, wasn't she?
That's right. Didn't they all kind of like get a little bit of something from somebody up there?
Yeah, to help with Vecna, and Vex may not like that they killed it. Basically, were like destroyed a temple of the Dawnfather. Vex is probably going to be more concerned about Vax though if they ever tell him.
100%.
And then we find out like
she's gone through her grieving process. She's let him go, but now that he's like eternally struggling right now.
It's gonna get weird. Matt seems very reluctant to bring these NPCs in there like that, but I think we all want it.
Have level 20 like characters to become an ally is something you kind of want to avoid right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like it takes agency away from the actual table.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Keyleth,
but this was
Vox Machina, can you come in and fuck shit up?
You're just transferring agency. You're not actually taking it away. So I think I'm 99% sure that every single one of those players at that table would be okay with watching their old characters kick some ass. I don't think they'd have a problem with it at all.
I don't think of course not, But the thing is also, which I think they did well in this campaign, was like they didn't really give a shit about Vax getting fucking tortured and shit. They don't know who the fuck he is.
They don't know him. They role played those moments really, really well.
Yeah. And did they know that Keyleth went to the tree for grieving coaching for Vax?
She didn't go to the tree. She went to.
I swear they said that at some point.
No, Matt clarified that. He said no. You know that.
Oh, not the tree. The toad chick.
The tortoise. Yeah, the Galapagos. What do they call? Galapagos turtle. Whatever tortoise. Whatever they.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever they're called.
Tortle.
The turtle. They call them. They're turtles in D&D in 5th edition. But Matt's, because they're trying to get away from WotC. nomenclature because that's copyright shit. There, Matt calls them something different.
Right.
Galapagos, I think.
Oh yeah. That's right. He did.
They're turtles in fifth, but in his world in Exandria they're Galapagos, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, Keyleth went to the turtle, the lady,
the shore turtle
shrew.
in the toad.
Yeah, the shore shrew, and got counseling from
The shore shrew.
her based on what she was able to get from Yvonne Trevere or the knowledge that she got from the tree. But yeah, it didn't actually go to the tree itself. Hey, we got to wrap this up. I got to take this pupper out.
We could talk about this for fucking ages, man. There's so much going on right now. And you know what? Maybe it's good to just like leave it for the next episode because we still.
I think we're gonna get some knowledge the next one. I think that this combat was very, very big, and I don't think we'll get one next episode. I think we'll have a lot of talking this Friday.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, I mean, Ludinus didn't get the parlay that they were looking for.
No.
So
and Ludinus is not gonna go to Whitestone. Not a fucking chance.
Yeah, of course not. Not with fucking Vox Machina sitting around. No. Yep. I mean, don't want to invite that kind of shit.
Pike is there. Yeah.
Man.
Percy's there. Pike is there. Vex is there. Not a good, but Keyleth is probably there.
He's probably going to be there with him. Yeah. That's a really cool thing. That was probably my favorite cliffhanger of this campaign. Is this one? They're like, all right, well, they're gonna roll when they first start, is what they said, and then they're trying to go to the fucking Sun Tree. We get back. We get to go back to Whitestone. It's fucking sick.
That's a big one. I know. I was thinking the same thing. I was gonna smile. I'm like, oh, nice.
It's like usually I don't know what's gonna happen for the next episode, but this one, we get to see Whitestone. It's cool. It's familiar. It's fun. Yeah.
All right, buddy.
So we just gotta wait and see. We're part of the wait and see tribe, to quote Scrubs. But we got to end this, man. I got to pee. I think this is our longest episode we've ever done, dude.
Cool.
I got to start writing so many fucking notes, or they got to stop giving me so many things to talk about.
That's more like it.
I got to throw a few things out there to promote. This weekend, we're playing at the Wine Festival up in Miaoli. We're headlining that show, and there's some amazing bands up there like Temple Smoke and
Wine.
I
like Temple Smoke. They're good.
They're fucking terrific, aren't they?
Yeah, they're great. He's got
terrific people
voice.
Too. Oof. Oh yeah. Man. And the weekend after that, we're playing at here in Taiwan for a Halloween party. We're kind of taking it a little bit easy for that. Weekend after that is Compass Food and Music Festival back here in Taiwan.
I think a bunch of bands from Taiwan are coming down here for our Halloween show at Rocks.
For Reggie Rocks.
Reggie Rocks, yeah.
Yeah, support that shit, man.
And Moroccan, I'm not sure.
Reggie's a hell of a guy. Hell of a fucking guy. Go support that if you can. Donate if you can. Hell, that's it. They'll just treat him as you would.
Yep.
A normal charity. I don't know what the fuck's saying. And then the weekend after that, we're playing at a little place called In the Alley here in Taichung, but we're doing acoustic that time. So it's all of our normal songs, but playing acoustically, adapted to our acoustic. So I'm going to be on the cajones.
The cajon. That's what I was playing.
They're going to be on.
I like the cajon.
Acoustic keys. We're going to play them slower, a little bit different strumming patterns. You know, the songs are all kind of revamped for all that. Actually, that one's not confirmed yet, but I'll confirm next week.
That's cool.
And after that, I don't know. We're just trying to soak up our weekends with shows. You know.
Hey, nice little tip for the cajon. Tambourine at the foot.
Yes, I have one for my left foot.
Yeah, it gives you the little hi-hat jingle if you like it. Yeah. It's a nice little. I sometimes do it, sometimes don't, but it's a good one.
I like to tape it there so I don't have to keep adjusting
yeah.
Because I like stomp too. You know?
Yep.
Thank you for that tip. So come check out those things. Follow Ben at Ben Greenspoon on all socials. Follow me, drummatucka, on Instagram. And if nothing else, bud, we got to get out of here. Yeah, nothing else. All right, man. Check out these shows. Check out go support Reggie Rocks if you're in Kaohsiung, go check that out. If you're in Taichung, come check it out. Come meet us. Say hi. We'd love to meet some critters in Taiwan.
I'll be there.
And hey, man. Don't forget to love each other. And is it finally Friday? Ooh. Peace, y'all.
Peace, bro. Take it easy.
Oh, where's my mouse? There she is.